Alright, today I'm going to be doing a review over the Origin8 Slimline pedals. These are brand new pedals. I just got them in and they are pretty thin, but my only issue with them right now is right out of the box you can tell on this film that those nubs are really rounded. It says that they are interchangeable and it didn't come with a tool for me to change them out, and they did not come with any extra nubbins. And I hate to say this, these Shimano's, these are a little bit older Shimano's, they're about 4 months old, are still very grippy. And that's the model number right there. And you can always change those out with a normal screw, and these came with 5 extra screws for you to change them out. And I believe it might have came with the tool. I'd have to look in the box and see if it did come with the tool. But overall, these profiles, we'll do a profile comparison because these are the only kind of semi-flat pedals I got if we can. I mean, the Origin8s are a lot thinner and everything, and it does say on the box that you can change them out with a M3-8 SS pin, and but I mean it just came with both these pedals. And another thing is that this bushing on a couple of spots, it's like kind of shrunken in a little bit, so that kind of has me worried. I believe it might be on this one where it's kind of a little bit messed up. Hopefully nothing will get in there and destroy them. I'm doing the Tour de Dirt race in Oklahoma, and we'll see how these do at Medicine Park, and then I'm just going to keep them on there and see how long they last. And I also have a micro shift that I put on there, and so far I had to change out my front sprocket because the front sprocket got damaged at St. Crispin's, and I raced it at Lake Thunderbird, and my chain came off 1 time. But in practice runs, it came off like 5 or 6 times. I had it professionally redone, and it just came off the once. And this is what my original pedal was this red line. And looking at the red line, it's a lot thicker, and I mean, you can't change out nothing on this. And these bearings felt kind of like they're about shot. But I mean, the peg system is almost the same, so I was kind of a little disappointed right out of the gate because I was hoping for something more like that, where a screw was actually sticking all the way through. But since they're kind of got them on both sides there, and they're both equal except for here on the very end they got them offset, but in the middle they're in the same spot. So I guess trying to get a screw to go both ways, they did this, which I'll have to find a video on actually how do you change those out, if you have to get a pair of vice grips or channel locks and just clamp down on there and then twist them out. I don't know. I might try doing that in a minute just to try it off film and then do like a video of it. Okay, I couldn't find my vice grips, but with my big channel locks here, I could actually twist out that middle one and raise it in and out. So I just had to squeeze down on it really hard, so they will come out, so that's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew it all the way out and see what it looks like. Alrighty, well, it looks like they did add some blue Loctite to these, which is awesome, but at the same time I kind of wish that there was a little bit more of a screw surface on these. But I understand that over time you're going to have to use your channel locks or vice grips right out of the gate to get those things off there, even if you did have them on here for over years of use and abuse. But we'll see how long they last with that bushing thing. I'm really not a big fan of it because these Shimano's here don't have that rubber thing. Instead it's all kind of sealed up, and yeah, it looks a little gummy, but to me that looks a lot better than that little rubber piece. But anyways, we'll see how long they last, and we'll do a longevity review after the Tour de Dirt series. This is the Origin8 pedal, and you can tell that that thing is pretty thin. how it looks on that crank. And then I'll rotate this one like this because my bike's not really on a bike stand. And that's what it looks like. We'll see how these pedals handle the Tour de Dirt Oklahoma series. And this is my fancy chain stay. I did have a skateboard wheel that held it on basically right here because the skateboard wheel couldn't go here because my crank arms are way too thin, and I'll have to do a review on this Cobb crank. It's a 160 crank. My tire sizes are a 26-inch size, and so I was getting pedal strikes with the original 175s, or they could have been some old 178 millimeter crank arms. So called up Cobb and Speed and Comfort, and I said I needed a shorter crank for this bike, and they sent me one. I was hoping to turn this into a gravel bike with a 36 tooth sprocket with a 52. That's kind of like a road gear style, but I was like, well, 36 in Oklahoma won't be bad. I can get like a 50 rear sprocket, but instead I got the micro shift with the 48. We'll do a different review. Well, this change guard was supposed to have like a fancy plastic thing that went from back here all the way up to the front. With that plastic thing was causing some hiccups was right here. I had to shim it out, but the screw was too short and only sent you one screw to where you couldn't use all the shims and whatnot. So I was like, why use that plastic piece whenever I could use this metal here? And it's really not rubbing that hard. I know it sounds kind of gritty, but I want that chain to stay on there, and there is just barely a little bit of play in that thing. So I got a nut in there as a spacer, grounded it down just a little bit with a hand file, and I was like, that's gonna be good enough. And I got some washers there that I had just laying around. This is all just what I had in the barn, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this work. I'm getting tired of buying parts. This piece here has a plastic thing that went around there, and I've already cracked that on tightening this bracket down, and it said that it was all aluminum, and it's not. So I'm gonna have to order a different bottom bracket thing later on. It's just too close to ordering parts, and it's supposed to have like a soccer wheel here and whatnot to hold it up. But I hate to say it, with this clutch and the back end, I don't want to wear it out. Because this clutch, I don't know if you can adjust it or not, but there's little teeth in there, and if you rack this thing back all the way, it could destroy the teeth. We'll have to do another video on that later. Anyways, this is what the Origin8 pedals look like now. I kind of like them, but we'll just see how long they'll last with this Tour de Dirt series.